Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is your host, David McCaig, and we're here inside ONNtv studios. Very happy to be able to join us for another edition of the Game Sports Show, despite if you're tuning with us on our website that's soon to be launched, through our Podbean page, or of course through ONNtv, SaultOnline YouTube channel, or through the website. Either way, happy to be able to join us for another action-packed edition. And I want to say thank you for the patience as well, as it's been my first show since before Christmas, Alex. And without further ado, I'll say hi to Alex.
Hello,
Thanks for joining us, as always.
Hello, Dave. Woof. It's been too long. I don't even know if I remember how to do this anymore.
Black background with our logo this time. I like it.
Change it up.
I like
Change it up
changing things around. I like that. Unfortunately, obviously, I got ill during Christmas, and then I hurt my back. So obviously, I'm kind of on the old modified duties, if you will. So I'll be taking some standing breaks in between our commercial breaks. So nonetheless, very happy to return, and we apologize. It's been a month. This is a month since our last show.
Oof.
A month since our last show on ONNtv, and I've definitely missed you guys, including our producer, Jacob Moore. Missed you too. So nonetheless, very happy able to join us. I want to thank everyone for being a part of the show here tonight. We got an action-packed show. On the opener here, we're going to be talking about the sign coming off the highway. That's all I'm going to leave
Dave
that
is so fired up about this.
And I'll explain why I am so pumped about it. And then on part two of the show, we're going to be talking about the NHL and a wide range of discussion. We've got lots of topics to jump into: the AllStar Game, Patrick Kane, Kachuk Kassian, coaching, Ovechkin passing Lemieux, and all that. And then on the third part, we're going to be jumping into MLB sign stealing, and we're talking about Conor McGregor. Part 4 will feature some local update in terms of the NOJHL, the OHL, and NCAA. Then, of course, part 5, that will tee us up nicely for our Wednesday show tomorrow from SportsCenter. We'll have our In the Pocket segment as well. Then our thumbs up and thumbs down for the week as well. Now, you can listen to previous editions of the show on our Podbean page, website, also through our the ONNtv YouTube channel. We had a show yesterday on ESPN 1400 with Scott. It was real passionate. I got real upset about the Toronto Maple Leafs on there. I'm definitely doing that today. I'm going to bring that to the live face portions of radio.
Bringing that energy still, eh?
Yeah, it's my turn.
He's got some fire in him today. I'm excited that the tables have turned a little bit.
I brought the bow tie for a reason, and I kind of puffed it out a little extra because I'm going to feel a little extra today, a little extra fire, if you will. But let's get started with the show, okay? With talking about the sign coming off the highway. That's the only kind of way that I can explain this. I've talked about this on our last week edition from Thursday from Northern Superior Brewing Company, and I feel like I ranted off into two different areas. I talked about people that should be on the sign that aren't really from the Sioux, which kind of doesn't make sense. Then I talk about people that should be on signs all over the place. So I kind of want to sum it up better here on the on TV.
I want to be a viewer right now. Dave,
yes.
What does the sign have anything to do with sports?
So what does the sign have to do with sports? That's a very good question, Alex. Well, if you look on that sign, obviously the Sioux Greyhounds are on there with the 1993 Memorial Cup victory. Then, of course, you got Dr. Roberta Bondar on there, which, hey, I'm a fan of that. That is absolutely cool. Okay, but there's one thing with that sign. It's outdated.
Oh, big time.
It is outdated, Alex. Okay? And with the sign, it needs to be updated. We have a new logo with our city that I know a lot of people have criticized. But we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And again, what does this have to do with sports? Well, I can simplify this for you. Team Jacobs / Brad Jacobs, gold medalist.
Yeah.
Marcoux brothers, including Mac, who obviously just won another World Cup. We're going to get into that later on in the segment. Another local figure has represented 1 gold medals. And I'm sure there's other representatives.
Tyler Kennedy,
Stanley Cup champion, exactly. You have Ron Francis, was leading the NHL in all-time assists.
Yes.
And then obviously got passed.
4th all-time in points.
Yeah, 4th all-time in points, which is a great achievement. You have Craig Hartsburg, who I mentioned is not from Sault Ste. Marie. That's where I made the mistake on my show. So I want to point that out right now. So Craig Hartsburg is from Southern Ontario. Okay, but our hockey community in general has had such big impacts. And the reason why I bring up Craig Hartsburg is because I did kind of have this discussion with him, but we didn't get into detail as much as we are now. And he's just been obviously around when players were here, and connected with players like Tyler Kennedy, local figures. Marty Turco. There's another individual. Yeah, he didn't have the same individual success, much like Francis had, or even winning a cup like what Kennedy did.
At a time, he did have the modern record for best goals against average in a season, though. So there's a stat for you there.
There you go. Look at that. I like that. The glasses aren't fooling you today.
No. I think it was 1.78. I think that's what it was.
So you had a high goals against average. Now, I know that maybe Marty Turco being on there, given that may not be something that you don't have 5 different signs. Okay, you don't want 5 different signs.
And how far back are, how many signs? 5 different signs for each one?
Yeah, you got trees there, you got grass, you got the environmental people that are going to step in after that. Then it becomes a whole public issue.
How far back are you going to go, though? When you say Ron Francis, you say Marty Turco.
Yeah, you're going back a little bit. So I'm going to keep this realistic. I'm saying, I'm not going to get too vented with this, because I got to save my ranty for the NHL portion of the show. Just kind of tease that. But Team Jacobs, okay, has won their 3rd straight. They three-peated with the Pinty's Grand Slam of curling. Okay?
Oh, man,
and I'll say flat out right now, before I even get into this point, Brad Jacobs, 3 appearances on the Game Sports Show, 3 victories. Kind of coincidence, I think not. And at the end of the day, though, you have somebody who's represented us in a national point. Winning a gold medal, thank you. Yeah,
I got you, Dave.
International point. Winning a gold medal at the Olympics. Okay, now I understand he didn't fly to the moon, okay, and he wasn't an astronaut.
Right.
And I'm not saying get rid of this old sign. Don't. I want to recognize Roberta Bondar. I want to still recognize '93 World Cup. Hopefully the Hounds can add to that in the future. However, we need to recognize and update the city as our culture changes and go with the modern society. And that's one thing that I feel like the city needs to improve on from the sports side of it. Okay. Maybe I'm forgetting some people that should be on there, like other figures that are similar to like a Roberta Bondar or scholastic figures, and I'm not disincluding them. If there's other people, please let us know below if we're missing anybody. We're sticking this to sports because we are talking sports. I think they need to update this sign. They need to update it. The blue background, Alex was telling me how it's a street sign. You can't really change it. I understand that. Maybe they kind of make it a bit more appealing because it does look like an old sign. You have a new logo with the city. You have the city evolving. You want to bring forth change. You want to recognize local individuals in the community. What better way than just to start even from there? Not just your logo that you updated. Bring in by things that represent local figures that have done so much for this city. Marty Turco has done a lot for the Pee Wee. Ron Francis has done little things for the Sioux. Brad Jacobs and Team Jacobs so big with local companies and local businesses and entrepreneurs, much like myself. And then you have the Marcoux brothers, who obviously with the Paralympics, have done fantastic winning gold. Look at the numbers; he's absolutely killing it. And we'll get to that near the end of this segment as well. So there's a lot of figures that need to be recognized. And I know it's a process for the city. I know it's a process to do a lot of things in any city. Not just Sault Ste. Marie. I'm not pointing at the city going like this, saying you have to do this, you're doing this bad. No, I'm throwing simply a recommendation forward, Alex, that they have to make these changes.
Now, if somebody countered with, because the glass enclosures that are around the GFL Memorial Gardens that have the leaves with the different names of people, sports figures around the city. What if somebody retaliated with you and said, but we have something to recognize them?
That is a good question, and I like seeing that at the GFL. I think that's a great place for it because where the Hounds play, a lot of traffic goes in there. But there's some things that people do when they come to the city. They don't just go to hockey rinks.
True.
They don't just come. Sometimes they just pass here, and they just want to, passing through so they can go to Thunder Bay. Who knows? I'm not sure. They're just passing through. Or maybe they want to come and maybe they're curlers. Maybe by having Brad Jacobs and Team Jacobs on there, I'm saying Team Jacobs, I say Brad because of habit, but Team Jacobs, maybe they're curlers. Maybe now you're promoting the curling side of the community. That helps Brad and his vision to help grow the curling sport in town. And then with the Marcoux, with skiing and everything, right? Then you promote Searchmount in that way, sort of.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're just trying to get that new flavor of what Sault Ste. Marie is, that new language out there about what we are. Not 93 Memorial Cup champions, which we are. Not taking anything away from that team and what they did.
No.
Times are changing, though.
I'm saying right now, I had a friend pass through who said he hasn't been in the Sioux in about 15 years, and he said, how hasn't that sign changed yet?
Is this what sparked the
And
flames?
that's what sparked a lot. I always thought that, driving back and forth when I coached Blind River, and there's that sign again, as you can see, Dr. Roberta Bondar, Sault Ste. Marie grounds. You got to keep those on there.
You keep that sign, like you said. I think it's not even that bad of an idea.
You can even keep that sign, and you can add to that. Okay, or you can put one beside it, or if you want to redo that sign and just make it longer, whatever you want to do, you got to add Team Brad Jacobs in there. You got to add the Marcoux brothers. There's 2 you got to add. Comment below who you think if we're missing anybody. But obviously there's a lot of national figures in terms of being recognized in sports and obviously worldwide that we got to bring forth and promote more in the city. When they pass through the city, you want them to be recognized right away, and then maybe you influence other local businesses to have these people stop in there, or maybe make them curious to ask questions or search them, get in touch with them. I don't know. It just helps promote when it's just showed 2 people, the Sault Ste. Marie has a long list of successful individuals, and we have to show them.
Yeah, I don't think it can be said any better than that. I think you kind of hit the nail right on the head.
I talked about it and ranted more previously, but I'm not going to rant or previously go any further.
Yeah, that's
Quick
pretty
shout out
contained.
before we go to commercial break. Obviously, Jacob's winning the Pinty's Grand Slam McCaig 3 times in a row. Check out our Facebook page for that upload, as well as our Mac Marcoux upload for winning a 6th straight World Cup.
Yeah.
We have our article on our Facebook page as well that you can check out. The World Para Alpine Skiing World Cup in Calgary is the 50th career World Cup podium, Alex.
50.
Local figure recognized.
Huge.
Sault Ste. Marie
Huge.
representing. The boys doing a great job. Dave, Alex, taking a break, coming back for part 2 of the Game Sports Show shortly. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave, Alex, so we join you. I did my little stretch. I feel good. I'm ready to get part 2 started. And we're jumping into, as the bumper just said, hockey. Hockey talk. And there's loads to talk about. And I honestly don't know where to start, to be honest, Alex. We're going to talk about the Leafs.
To start.
I honestly don't know if I want to start or end with that. I kind of want to. I know our
I want
producer
you
in
to
the
start
back.
with it because I don't want you to get cut off at the end. I don't want to have a segment run too long where you're not done your thoughts. Come on, like a Band-Aid, Dave, like a bad one. Just rip it off and get it over with.
Okay, all right. So I'll talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay? And the camera will obviously be zoomed in on all angles to me here. And Alex, I want you to give your thoughts after I go.
Okay, I am ready.
Yesterday on ESPN 14, I got asked about this. Butch Davis and Scott Nason actually gave me their time on the roundtable, which is 2 minutes or so each on live radio. So they gave me about 5 to 6 minutes to rant about the Leafs, and I did. I was unexpectedly given that, and I was on the spot. And I still think I did a great job, but I went all over the place, okay?
Yeah.
As expected. As people listen to our podcast, we have fun doing it. But I want to rant about the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay? I'm taking off my host hat. I'm putting my fan hat on here for a second. As you run a sports show, obviously you want to talk about everything, and it's all equal talk about teams. I want to pretend I'm a fan right now, commenting and giving a comment to you, and I want the listeners, viewers, everything to comment below what they think. The Leafs, okay. I'm going to be flat out right now. This year, going into the season, expectations were high, very high. They had the odds to win the Stanley Cup in Vegas. Okay, that if you have to look at the Vegas odds, Toronto was number 1. You can look back at that. Canadian teams, they're ranked number 1. You look at the offense of this team, it is beautiful. Say bello, whatever you want to say in Italian, it's great. But hey, what was the question I've been asking and saying for the past 3+ years? The defense is garbage on this team, okay? And I'm going to say right now, as a lot of bumpers go by, there's a lot of happiness and hugs there. I haven't seen that in quite some time. It's been at least 5 or some games. This year, Mike Babcock starts the year. The year starts hot-ish. Gets cold, then gets real cold. Mike Babcock gets fired. Comes in Sheldon Keefe. Great. Love that. I have no complaints about Keefe. I'm not going to complain about Keefe at all in this. Okay, I'm going to direct my things to a couple things about the Leafs, and it is right now, and I'm not yelling right now, but I might get to that point. I'm trying to keep my composure because my earpiece might fall out pretty soon if I get too excited. So I'm going to say flat out, coaching is not the problem on this team. The problem on this team is defense. And Freddie Anderson, I'm going to go to that for 1 sec as Jake Muzzin goes on there whenever he decides to come back, probably after the All-Star break, whatever it may be. The defense is very thin. Cody Ceci and Martin Marincin are leading your defense in minutes, essentially, for most of the night. You are not going to win jack anything. You're not going to be successful whatsoever. I don't mean to point out players, but I'm going to. Cody Ceci is a 7th defenseman. Marincin is not an NHL everyday defenseman either. I am sorry. This guy is not. I know Alex is going to sit there and say, oh, he's been playing pretty good this year. I don't care how good he's been playing.
I'm sitting here minding my own business, giving you your time.
Listen, Martin Marincin, when you have him starting, you're not winning the Stanley Cup. Justin Hall has been a lot of improvements this year. Very happy to say that he is a 6th defenseman. Dermott is a 5th defenseman. So what does that leave you with 4 defensemen? Riley and Muzzin are up in there, and you got Tyson Barrie. When they're healthy, they got a pretty decent core. But Tyson Barrie has been absolute garbage this year too defensively. Jake Muzzin has been slow all season. Okay, but he's still a good hitting for hard checking defenseman. Riley has 3 goals, I believe. 3 goals. Last year, the guy was on pace for 60, 70 points. He's having an off year, probably because he got hurt. Also because Connor McDavid dangled his pants off, and probably that's what actually broke his foot, not that shot in Florida. This defense is garbage. You're not winning a Stanley Cup with this decor. Okay, so who do I call out with that? Kyle Dubas. Hi, I'm calling you out right now. Tyson Barrie project hasn't worked out. Your injuries, you've got Morgan Riley gets hurt, Jake Muzzin's been hurt. You know the defense has needed improvement. Do you just sit there and go, you know what? I don't need any changes. We're gonna go these last 3 games to see what happens. Hello, you're out of a playoff spot now. Every Leaf fan 2 weeks ago, oh yeah, second place, we're winning the Stanley Cup again. Leaf fans, I've told you from the start, don't get your hopes up with this team. And this week of the bye week that we have, relax and enjoy it, because the next couple weeks and months is going to be pure stress and your hair is going to go gray. Okay, and I'm going to tell you right now, Kyle Dubas, you can use Morgan Riley on this LTIR nonsense and then bring him back playoffs, if you make it, game 1, and you can make a trade. Hi, Matt Dumba's out there. Brendan Dillon's out there. There's players out there that I'm naming. You can move players. Janssen's movable. Kapanen's movable. You know the depth that you brought up. Engvall, Brooks, Mason Marchment looks decent. You got Dmytro Timashov. You got Jeremy Bracco buried with the Marlies, who's NHL ready, I think. Move him. Bring in a backup for Anderson. I got Anderson thought 1 sec before. We got lots of things to cover here, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. Okay, but keeping with that decor is garbage. You're not going to win. Cody Ceci and Marincin should not step foot on that ice. But Sheldon Keefe has no choice. You can't play Timothy Lindgren 20 minutes in the game or Sandin. Sandin is looking great. That kid's going to be the real deal. The defense right now, even with Riley and Muzzin healthy, this team does not get past the first round against Boston or Tampa. Guess what? If we just make the playoffs, guess who we're playing the first round? Hi, Boston. Hi, we'll just wait over here and let you sweep us this year instead of 7 games. Or let's do 7 games again for fun. Come back when you're down 4-1 to beat us again. That'd be fantastic. You're not going to win with this decor. Changes have to happen now. If you're serious about making the playoffs, Kyle, make a move. You got Pridham as your cap GM or assistant GM, whatever he is. Make sure you get some stuff done, because you're not going to make the playoffs this team, because if they don't make the playoffs this year, it is a disaster, Alex.
Okay, I don't even know where to start. What do you want them to do? There's no cap room. They can't make a move. You throw Morgan Riley on the LTIR, make a move, trade deadline's over. Oh, what are you going to do? Activate Riley?
Nope.
Or send this guy to the minors?
Activate him in the playoffs.
Oh my God.
It's the Leafs. You're the evil empire. Do it. Morgan, you're hurt. You're not coming back till April 12th, the game 1 against Boston or Tampa.
Even with our full healthy, I say our, hold on, got to put the fan hat on if I'm going to do that. With a full healthy decor for the Leafs defense, it still isn't good at defense. Some of them are good at scoring. Some of them are.
They're not winning the cup with that. Oh, and Gardner's better than Marincin. Yes, I said that.
Well, yeah, I don't really think that's that hot of a take.
Even though I really dislike Gardner, I've said that on the show.
And you have to mock me too. Marincin's been playing better than Cody Ceci.
Cody Ceci? I have men's league defensemen been playing better than Cody Ceci.
Okay, that's a little far. I feel bad for Cody Ceci, but I don't feel bad for him when I see him as the defenseman up in the rush.
And when you make $4.5 million, I don't feel bad. That's not his fault, though. Okay, and the other 2 points I'm going to say, make those moves, do what you can, because you don't make the playoffs, it's a disaster. We're expecting that. The other point is Frederik Andersen.
Okay.
When the fans cheer him for finally making a save, are you kidding me? You know why we have 23 or 25 wins? We know why 2 of them or 22 of them are there or so. I don't know his exact stats top of my head. Okay, but I think they're up.
There's the last 4 games.
Absolutely. Well, the last 4 games are pretty brutal. He's not doing great, okay, but why are we where we are? Because of him. Are you kidding me? You guys are chanting Freddie last week and you're booing him out of the rink the next time. You get a grip. Without him, we're nowhere. We are nowhere at all. And the third point, this forward core is supposed to be so good. I've never seen so much laziness and soft hockey in my life, and that's my biggest point. Nylander, a hit's a hit, man. Take it. Skate. Do an actual thing out there would be great instead of combing your hair.
What do you mean? Nylander's on pace for 30 plus, like 37 goals, 38 goals.
I don't care about his scoring. I really don't.
Oh,
here's my point.
I'm going to complain about offense, and then I'm going to complain because this guy scores goals.
But you ever see him
going to the corner? Are you just jealous of his hair? Does that have it? Yes,
I am very.
I've seen him in the corners, and he's soft.
He doesn't go there.
Exactly, but he doesn't need to. Clearly something's working for the guy.
But who should go there in his place? Nobody. There's no one who has that bite in Toronto. No one who has
Hyman.
that physical.
Hyman.
Yeah, but he plays with Matthews and Marner. What's been the best line in hockey? Matthews, Marner, and Hyman. One of the best lines. And the reason why is because Hyman does a lot of the dirty work. Tavares, out the last couple of weeks, man, I don't know if you're hurt. I don't know what's going on.
He's just a slow skater.
Something's going on.
Skater. He's always been not the fastest
When
guy
I saw
in
him
the
on
world.
Long Island, he carried P.A. Parento. He carried players. He's not carrying players on here, not because he really needs to. And Nylander's having a great year. You're right. Offensively wise, I'm not tripping that for $6.9 million. You're not going to get that anywhere else.
Thank you.
His soft play scares me because he's afraid to get hurt. All these Leafs are afraid to get hurt. Every single one of them except Pierre Engvall. Engvall has been their best overall well-around player, including Zach Hyman. Okay, they need to improve and make that D, maybe that forward. You can't make a trade because I want you to make a trade for a D and a backup goalie. You're not going to make a trade for that forward. I just wanted to see more intensity for the Leafs forward. That's where my question is. Not just Nylander's play. It's just his play in the O-zone and going down and getting those dirty areas.
Okay, so if the Leafs were to make only one move for a roster player going into the playoffs. Okay, I was going to say what position. You want
Defense.
Matt Dumba. Okay, I can see Minnesota.
25-year-old, you trade Ceci for the money, you trade maybe forward, and I think you do get rid of Timothy Lindgren.
But just because Minnesota's a bad team doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to give up one of their cornerstones.
You give up Timothy Lindgren and that, they'll do it. And I think Timothy,
I don't know about that.
I would expand that.
I feel like maybe if with Sandin they do it, but I don't know. What are
if
you
you
gonna
can't get Dumba, the consolation prize is Brandon Dillon, and Dillon's a truck.
What are you gonna get? Liljegren and send over Bracco and send over CC
for Dumba or Dillon?
For either one of these players.
For Dumba, Lindgren's going for Dillon. You can get rid of Bracco. Not even. Maybe Timoshev in a second.
You're gonna have to give up cap space.
So then you give up Janssen. Janssen, Kapanen, or Kerfoot are your three forwards. Your D is Liljegren, Brinson, Ceci, and that second-round pick next year. Those are your trade picks and Bates. And Hutchinson, if you can get a backup goalie, just let the poor guy go. Give the guy some break. But those are my three things. It's a D-core, the consistency of the forwards, and obviously stop booing Anderson. Without this guy, we'd be 340-something and something else. This guy is one of the best goalies in the league. And you boo him and cheer him in the rink. I hated that. I hate that using that word.
My favorite part is that he's going to the AllStar Game. You want some time off, kid? No, you're gonna go do media, and you're gonna go do a skills comp, and then you're gonna go play a game. Have fun, buddy.
Yes.
Enjoy that rest.
Yep.
I can't believe. I wish you would have pulled an Ovechkin and just went, nah, paid the fine. Honestly.
Yeah, man. Pay the fine. Send Carey Price, someone else.
No, they want an All-Star.
Oh, ouch. Oh. So now, I know we did a lot of Leaf rant there. We have a lot of things to jump into.
You did a lot of Leaf rant there.
I just got those 3 points. If you're gonna make a move, it's on D. You have to do it, dude. You've had to do it for the last couple years. You brought in Barry. That project was supposed to work, but he technically replaced Gardner at an improvement, but it hasn't been as great as improvement as you thought. But he's still there for a cheap cap. You keep him for the rest of this year. You have to improve that D core somehow, Kyle. You're gonna have to move Kerfoot, Kapanen, or Janssen, one of those two. You might have to throw Bracco, and I think you got to look at making the move for Dumba. I think that'd be a great fit. He's only making $6 million. Okay, just in case you lose out on Muzzin, you have someone who's 25 locked up for 4 years. It'd be a great addition to that D-core.
It's going to be hard to get him. It's going to be hard.
It would be very hard. Very hard. But that's just a figure. My whole point is, since we basically spent this whole segment,
I was
getting into other things.
It's a whole segment, isn't it?
It's a whole segment with the Leafs right now.
Okay, time to stretch it out. Come back to a couple more topics.
Yeah, that's what I think. And nonetheless, what do you think of my points? My little brief rant, 12-minute rant. Nonetheless, comment below what you think. The Leafs, as a fan, I'm upset. I'm disappointed what you've been doing. Please restore faith and come back with intensity. And fans, enjoy this break because it's going to be a hell of a ride coming until April. Dave, Alex, taking a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more hockey. We got some baseball and all the fun stuff here on the game. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave, Alex, I want to give a shout out to Jake for being very lenient for letting me take a little bit of prolonged breaks for my back.
Some breathers.
Some needed breathers. Fantastic as always here. You listen to the game on various platforms. We're happy you're able to continue joining us for tonight. We're going to continue some more hockey talk that we had. And I know Alex had one thing to bring up with the Leafs quick. I'll let you do it before we jump into the other things. I liked your point that you said off air. I want you to stay here.
We were on break and you mentioned that people are booing Anderson. And it's because people that are there aren't Leafs fans, and if they are, they're sitting nosebleed seats because they're the only seats that they can afford. That's why you don't see Leafs fans at the start of puck drop. They're not there because they're there with their business buddies, ticket,
or on their couch,
or on their couch because Leafs tickets, premium. I mean, go look at StubHub. You're looking at bottom bowl seats for $300 plus, and those are the people that can afford it. Are the people in suits, their business suits. And they don't care. They don't know these players. Oh, this goalie sucks tonight. Boo! They don't know. And then that's what Anderson takes home that night is, oh, they were giving me the old Patrick watch here. Sick. So I don't know. That won't change.
Best goalies in the league.
Yeah, top 5, easy.
Like unbelievable. Better than environment.
Won't happen. Dude,
can't say what I actually want to say.
Tell the Leafs management to take down ticket prices.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We don't care about the people. We care about our wallets. New catchphrase. Not the passion that unites us all. We want money.
The dollar that unites us all. That unites none of us, actually, because they can't afford to get in.
I don't think we're fans anymore. Anyways, moving on. All-Star Game. Alex.
Do you care about All-Star Weekend?
I used to.
When? How old were you?
When it was at Air Canada Center, when it was called the Air Canada Center, it'll always be the HCC to me, by the way. Sorry, Scotia.
Okay.
Nonetheless, when it was there in 2000, the skills comp was one of the best I've ever seen.
How old were you?
I would have been 9.
That may have played into the fact that was why it was the best. Because it was still cool. They were still like cool. They were adults. They were cool. They were flashy doing that. I don't care anymore. I'd rather my players get a week off or an international tournament for 2 weeks. I would love to see international hockey. I don't care about the All-Star Game. It's a money grab, and
they're grabbing.
And how am I supposed to care about a game or a skills competition when the players openly don't care? Alex Ovechkin doesn't care and will rather the rest and pay the fine. And I can't really blame him. I mean, you can go and say, well, Ovechkin is one of the best players in the league. People want to go and see him. Yeah, but the players don't want to be there. They get hounded by media, and then you got 2 throwaway nothings. Oh, but there's $30,000 if you win a skills comp. They don't care. What's $30,000 to a guy even making league minimum?
It's not. The whole point is, I like seeing the skills comp. I think that's cool, but it's so not taken seriously. It's so you got Ovechkin going out there with sunglasses, sometimes in a hat.
That stuff I don't mind. Like I was watching the highlights from the KHL All-Star Game, right? I don't know if you saw them on your Instagram feed at all, but like they're doing silly things, and I'm like, okay, I can see some of that personality. When I watch basketball, I see LeBron doing the chalk thing, and I can be like, okay, you do that. That's your thing. Hockey players don't brand themselves. Austin Matthews is one of the first guys coming into the league. PK Subban does a really good job at branding himself as a personality, as a brand.
Just not great doing hockey this year.
He's something else. But I like seeing that like wacky stuff, or when Patrick Kane put on the cape and took a slap shot and the puck broke. Give me something a little bit more to chew on at the All-Star Game. I just don't see that.
I want to see more, like I like what you're saying about the entertainment, but I like seeing the more serious side where they actually show their skills with seriousness.
Right.
Like the hardest shot's awesome, the fastest skater's cool.
Because they tried.
Connor McDavid, hopefully none of these guys break an ankle or chip out on the boards. I've always said I hope that never happens. But because trust me, when you're skating around that fast, it can happen. You have the skills comp, some things are great, some things need to be modified. If you're going to keep the All-Star Weekend, which they probably are, because again, it's money, it's a business, but you need to have more seriousness. And they say, why don't they make the game worth something? Okay. There is something that's worth $1 million. That's the MVP and a car. I don't know exactly. John Scott got it one time. And at the end of the day, you still have something that they're playing for. But if you make it serious, then you got the owner saying, hey, like when Tavares got hurt at the Olympics the one time, and I forgot who his GM was at the time. I can't remember the top of my head right now. I believe it was Burke. I'm unsure, but it is, at the end of the day, you have an injury happen, then what do you say? Like, imagine if you're a Leaf fan, Anderson gets hurt in the All-Star Game. You may as well be thinking, I guess we're going to the All-Star Game without a goalie and coming back with Hutchinson as number 1 goalie. Point of the story is you can't make that too intense because then you're worried about the sign of injury. But you can avoid that. No body contact. no trip. You keep it 3-on-3. The 3-on-3 basis is cool. Make the game more something. Enhance the All-Star Game skills to make it more serious.
Yeah, I mean, a 3-on-3, I enjoy as a fan, but God, that must suck doing all that skating for a game that means nothing.
Yeah. I know we have the rosters, so I'll get that. Jake will throw that on the screen there. You got some rosters. Dougie Hamilton, obviously, with getting hurt in the Metropole. These are the original posted rosters.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Corpusalo is
yeah,
in now.
So there's a couple, obviously, alterations, but these were typically what was selected. Okay, now Dougie Hamilton obviously won't be there due to a devastating injury with Carolina, but you have these All-Star games. That's the Metropolitan. You also have the Pacific. It's going to be there, the Atlantic. This is the Pacific right here. You have Matt Tkachuk on there. I was really hoping that Drew Doughty would be on there. I would have loved that.
Well, now he gets to play with Connor and Leon.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. You have the Pacific there. That's definitely a very strong division. So you obviously have the Atlantic, and you're going to have other divisions coming up. There's the Atlantic right there. You have Matthews, and you have Frederick Anderson in there. Obviously, good rest. Obviously, they deserve to be there. All these players deserve to be there. Anthony DeClaire. I like the roster selections that were there. I believe Mitch Marner was the last man in for the Atlantic.
He was.
So he'll be there representing Toronto. So we had some last man in come in, but these are the original posted ones. And I actually really like this division. For some reason, the Central Division is what's got my eye. Patrick Kane, someone we're going to talk about here shortly, got his 1,000th point the other night against Winnipeg. But that is the team, really. The 3-on-3 is so exciting. If they can make that more incentive based for the divisions, maybe make it home ice advantage in the Stanley Cup final, you change that. Whatever it can be, that 3-on-3 is so exciting with hockey. It's the most exciting thing in hockey, and that's why I think we've always said get rid of shootouts. 3-on-3 is something great. So that's why these skills out there, it's going to be fantastic.
I think if you give the players a reason to play and a reason to care, the players caring will in turn make the people that, like me and Dave, not really care, or at least somewhat.
And we're sports guys.
Right? Like, this is
Running a
supposed to be our
sports
bread
show.
and butter, and we just don't.
I'll still be posting things on our social media about it because it's what we do.
Yeah, now there is one competition during the skills comp that actually kind of had me interested because the concept is so weird. I don't know if you know about it, but it is the Shooting Stars Challenge. 10 players, 8 NHL All-Stars, and 1 woman from the American and the Canadian team.
Yeah.
Right, they're doing that this
the
year.
women's, I love seeing that. Forgot about that.
They will compete. Players will be positioned on an elevated platform behind the goal, approximately 30 feet above the ice surface, where they will shoot pucks at a variety of targets located on the ice, with each target possessing different point values. One at a time, each player will attempt 7 shots and earn points for each target hit. Now, I think this is going to be a great competition because last year when they did the women and the fastest skaters,
awesome.
How cool was that? I'm not so sure if I'm sold on the 3-on-3 game for the women yet. I know, say what you want about that, but I'm there if I'm watching for NHL players. But I like adding in the women.
They're trying to make it better, which is cool.
Yes.
But they got to make it more incentives.
I like when the women are competing with the men because it's now we can see how they really stack up. Last year, was it Kendall Coyne who was just beaming it? I think she only got beat by McDavid in the speed last year. That's nuts. That is unreal. So I'm excited to see how they stack up.
beat Connor McDavid in the AHL in the skater. Then there's a guy on Edmonton who actually beat Connor McDavid with their Edmonton skills competition.
Unofficial though.
Stuff. Unofficial though. Interesting. But do you care about the All-Star game? Let us know below. Let us know what you think and how they can improve it. We can make this about the NHL, NFL Pro Bowl, which I'd rather watch the NHL.
Yeah,
All-Star
I think
game.
most NFL fans are in the same boat as
Yikes.
NHL fans with that.
Quick point, Patrick Kane getting his 1,000th point. He's one of the best American players of all time. He's having his number retired in London when they only played 1 season there. He got over 140 points. Obviously, he's deserved.
Fastest American-born player to 1,000 points.
Oh, that's amazing. 953 games. Plays over a point a game if you're doing math. Tkachuk, Kassian. We're going to save that part for Thursday, but I want to give a quick point. We'll see we now know Brandon Brooks was supposed to come on the show here today to discuss this because of him being a player, professional standpoint. But nonetheless, Kassian did what he had to do. Tkachuk sure did what he had to do. End of story. We did talk about it on Thursday. We might bring it up again on this upcoming Thursday. Brooks can join us. I want to get the professional hockey player output with that.
Are we out of time? No time for this? Because I was kind of excited to talk about it today.
We got minimal time.
Minimal? If you're saying.
You go. Yeah, but give your comment.
All I have to say is who won that game, who was in the box for the game-winning goal. That is simply it. Tkachuk got Kassian to take a stupid penalty.
This is what Brooksy was saying on our picture day.
Yeah, and I thought this even before we did that picture day, Saturday, right? Yeah.
There you go.
So, I don't know. Tkachuk got his team the win, and Kassian was in the box for when that goal went in. So, who did their job? I think that's writing on the wall. Like, I don't know what else to say.
End of the day, as I will say, I always believe that Tkachuk should have fought. But why does he have to? I get it.
Exactly.
That's just the hockey player in me, I guess. But Casson did his job getting him off his game.
That's
he
the
did what he
code,
had
the
to do.
manliness coming out of it.
And
right?
will he fight Cassidy next game? Let us
Nope.
know what you think below. I don't think he will, but I know somebody that will. Milan Lucic will, I think. I think you're going to see something done there. But it's going to be interesting, nonetheless. Coaches losing job quickly this year. Nonetheless, we won't jump into that, but it's definitely a lot of changes this year. Been amazing. But the last thing I'll say, Ovechkin passes Mario Lemieux on the goal list. This guy might actually catch Wayne Gretzky.
Ooh, he's got to score like 40-plus goals for
that's
5
insane.
seasons.
This is the best goal scorer that we've seen in the modern era.
Statistically, though, the drop-off that comes at the age he's at right now is so huge. Fingers crossed. I'd love to see that record broken.
I definitely agree. That's been our hockey talk here on the Game Sports Show. He's Alex. I'm Dave. Last I checked. We're going to take a break from the Game Sports Show on TV here, and we got more coming. We got 2 more parts coming for you here on the game. 3 more. And Alex, I know you're going to say this right off the top. We got a good thing coming at the end of the show, a little Come On Dave segment. We're going to tease that. There is only 2 parts left. I do know math, and I did basic math courses.
Just like how when you pointed out Patrick Kane had 1,000 points in 953 games, you said, that's over a point per game. I'm like, yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you, tips. Love it. Interesting stuff. So we have 2 more parts left. And in these parts...
Speaking of tips... Some teams got some tips.
I didn't even think of that.
Some teams got some tips.
Light bulb, yeah. They're called the Houston Astros and the Red Sox, but I'm more on the Houston Astros when it comes to this. Baseball, we talked about this on Thursday with Connor Henderson, and we gave a lengthy 30-minute discussion about it. You can check that out on our Podbean page and our soon-to-be newly launched website, which can be amazing, by the way. Nonetheless, sign stealing. Oh, hi, there's the Astros.
Oh.
Hi, guys. Yeah, how's it going to be a layoff this year? It's going to be perfect. Oh, yeah, there's some sign stealing. That's
they're doing a 2 for how many first-round picks they have to forfeit over the next 2 years.
Or for how many years they're going to be suspended.
Oh.
That's pretty future talent there. Maybe you do 2 minus 1, and that you do the 2 minus 1 that equals how many World Series maybe be stripped.
1? You only think 1's going to get stripped?
Honestly, here's my point. The MLB sign stealing
strip both of them.
Is obviously unfortunate for the game.
Unfortunately,
Connor and I'm going to keep it light. I'll keep it light. Just a little
is
bit.
Embarrassment.
It's an absolute embarrassment.
That's what the league prides itself on, is not sign stealing.
And I had somebody tell me, why is it bad? And I go, why is it bad? Why isn't it bad? Well, it's using technology to, get the best performance. Sure, you're getting, Altuve is getting I call it the vibrator on the top of the
shoulder?
The shoulder, thank you very much.
Good thing math is your forte.
Yeah, there you go. So part of the shoulder, you got signs, you got the third bit, you got all sorts of sign stealing things going on right now. And at the end of the day, they have the technology to use it. Why is it bad? That's why some people had their explanations. That's crazy. Okay, this is supposed to be natural talent, natural game, and everything. Sign stealing, if you're at second base, like Connor Henderson pointed out, and you can recognize a sign, and you call it to your third baseman, and you're doing this, and you go, all right, good for you. Go ahead, and if you can have the awareness, if you're rating an MLB The Show, MLB 20 is a 99 awareness because of this, you use it, okay? But sign stealing is not a part of the game. But I think stripping them of the World Series is a little bit extreme. But if they do, the Dodgers do not get that World Series. I don't care. I'm sorry, Dodgers fans. You didn't win it. Sorry. I don't care if they get stripped. It'll be just null and void. There'll be nobody. It'll be blank slate.
No.
Blank slate.
You strip the titles and you give both to the Dodgers. The clear best team in the playoffs and in the regular season from those 2 years are now the champions. Because if I feel like the Dodgers need a full investigation too. I feel like every team should probably. Technology's getting so far. But I also feel like
this was so messy too.
Let everybody sign steal. Just if teams are going to be able to use the technology, and there's teams that you can't figure out if they're using it or not until games that matter most have already been played, and you can't do anything about it, you just kind of have to let every team do it. And now you have to find new ways where a camera's on your back catcher's crotch, you calling out everything. Now you're going to have to find out new ways to try to get around that. And that just adds another layer to the game. Something that if you can't stop it, you need to let it happen. And I thought that same thing about steroids too.
You know, honestly, it's the same thing they do in some wrestling things as well, where if you get your title stripped, it's up for grabs to the number 1 contender to fight the other number 1 contender. So I guess it'd be number 2 contender.
Yeah,
that's kind of my mentality.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, UFC would do the same thing like that.
Sorry to the Dodgers, but you aren't getting that World Series, in my opinion. I don't think you deserve it. I really don't. I don't care about the sign stealing. You still didn't win it. They got away with it. Did the sign stealing help? No doubt.
But what if you are the Dodgers, though? Wouldn't you not feel like you were taken of your championship?
For sure.
You took them to Game 7. They cheated all 7 games, and you took them to that last game. Oh, and you're so close, and you lost. But wait a minute, they cheated to win. Don't you feel like that's yours now?
Yes,
See?
but no.
Dave, come on. Dave, come on.
I'd be upset, but the other day...
You'd be upset, and you would feel like it was stripped out of your rightful possession. No?
I'll say one thing. If I, as being a sports fan, coming up and being a Toronto fan, I've realized that don't expect anything and don't get your hopes up.
But you're an athlete as well. You played sports. Put yourself in those shoes. You played for the Stanley Cup all the way through Game 7. But buddy out back took a crowbar to your goalie's knee, and you lost because of it. So, whoops. Oh, but wait a minute. He did that. Isn't that wrong? Well, yeah, it's wrong, but you don't win. But we were the best team, though. Well,
At the end of the day, if the science is very bad for baseball,
I say just let it happen.
But if the MLB is going to set a precedence where you're going to get suspended, now you have to keep that through where it's not allowed.
Oh, the players don't care.
If it's going to happen, it's going to come out in different ways. The MLB has to figure out something where each team can have the equal advantage with not the sign, whatever. But I'm saying nonetheless, all the suspensions are fine. I think a 1-year suspension is fine to do. Stripping, it shouldn't happen. But can you please put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yeah, true.
Okay, that's all I gotta say. You got people stealing steins, getting vibrators on their chest. You got don't take my shirt off. Run down to the thing to take off your shirt. Altuve, you lied on camera. You're almost like Roger Clemens when you said I did never take steroids.
What do you think that the players deserve punishment? Because that's been a huge contingency. Yeah,
everyone does.
What
the
kind of
Astros should even be
though?
suspended for a year. Everyone involved who was in that, you're out for a year without pay.
So what do? Just call up the AAA team?
You don't have a team.
Really?
That's
huge. Like, that changes so much. It changes the playoffs. It changes the divisions. It changes the conferences.
Maybe it'll make people think.
Yeah, you know who's gonna make management of the MLB think a lot more than it's gonna make these. I don't know. I think that's
might be a little crazy. That's just me thinking on the top of my head. But maybe the Astros, everyone who was involved, every player, and if the Astros can't field the team.
So you're telling me just take two whole teams out, but don't give the Dodgers the World Series championship?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm crazy. I guess I'm crazy. Sign stealing. We'll talk about this more as the investigation continues. Here I am sounding like a news guy opposed to a sports show. I like being crazy and throwing different ingredients out there. People are going to comment below. Do I really think that, or am I just saying that? I do really think that. Don't think I'm lying. Nonetheless, we have the only way for the MLB is the only way to do now is to fix this, find a way to fix it. Good luck. I'm going to go one thing and give a quick comment. Conor McGregor, 40 seconds into his fight, absolutely. When he went, Conor McGregor looks ready to go here.
Yeah, I love all the conspiracy theories about how Cerrone threw the fight.
No.
How do you just take 4 shoulders to the face and not
broke
even
your
back
nose
up?
And you took a kick to the chops?
Yeah,
I'd be out before the kick.
Boom, taking shoulder and just sitting there and just taking it, not even trying to come back at all. None of that. I love a good conspiracy theory. So
what do you think? Was it thrown?
I mean, I think UFC wants to protect their biggest cash cow. Who wants to? If Cerrone wins, do you really care about the UFC fight with Cerrone in it? Or if McGregor wins, do you care about the McGregor fight next?
Conor can fight by March now. He doesn't need any break. Go fight. Someone fight him and give him a real fight.
Jorge
I'm not saying that
Masvidal.
Kachori couldn't have. He was a good fighter. Who knows if he threw it or not? Nonetheless, Conor won that in 40 seconds.
Jorge Masvidal.
And
That's
it was
the fight
a
I
boring
want to
fight. Even the fight before that with Holly Holm was also very boring. That wasn't the best of all events.
I want to see Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor because I want to see a real test. I want it for the BMF
I'd love to
championship
see GSP
too.
against McGregor for some reason.
That'll never happen, and I think GSP would get the floor mopped.
Oh, you think so? Okay. GSP would beat McGregor. I'm sorry. I think that.
If McGregor could get to GSP's weight class, he would not be able to move.
That would be amazing. I want to see that. Nonetheless, we got a couple other things before we go to break for our final part. I'm going to go through these quickly, these reminders about some local sports here. We got all the notes here on the Game Sports Show. We usually don't look at notes and follow as much as we can, but we like to make sure everything's accurate with all the local sports. We're going to start with the NOJHL. The Sault Thunderbirds' upcoming games, they played actually last weekend, and they played on Friday 1-0 against the Sioux Eagles. That was a great overtime game in Sioux, Michigan. And then on Saturday, the game was postponed, and so they would have to reschedule that game.
All of the games up
yes,
here, both Sioux
everything
teams.
It was, correct. So Saturday, there's January the 25th, they play against the Eagles, and then on Wednesday, January the 29th, they play against Elliott Lake Wildcats. And the Sioux Thunderbirds, when they play at Saturday, will be at 7 o'clock. Sioux Eagles. Okay, they lost against T-Birds in OT on Friday. Obviously, Saturday's game was postponed. So I will say right now that the Eagles play Friday, Saturday. They play in Elliott Lake on Friday, Saturday against the Thunderbirds.
Yes, correct.
So Blind River, they played last, as we just saw on the graphic, winning 8-3 against Elliott Lake. They played just the one game. This weekend they play Saturday, Sunday. Saturday against Elliott Lake, and then they play Espanola on Sunday. Sioux College, I'm going to go to you with Sioux College with their updates about this past weekend.
This past weekend, yeah, Sioux College killing it once again. 11-2 win and a 10-2 win. Just improving one little bit ever so better against the Huskies. And I like just play the track on repeat like we always do. They're wild. They're crazy. What's going to slow them down? I don't know. They do have a crazy little concept game coming up, though, in February.
They do. The Winter Classic coming up. Make sure you check it out, February the 15th. We had Mark Hebert and Charlie Murray on for our show last Thursday. Check that out as well. Sioux College Cougars playing great. Great organization. Greatly ran there as well. LSSU quick. They're off last week. They play at home, face Alaska Anchorage just Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock. And LSSU needs to bounce back. They're
coming
not in
off
a great place.
win, a loss, and a tie. One of them all.
Sioux Greyhounds, 5-1 and 5-2 losses against Saginaw this past weekend. They play Wednesday at home in Flint, and then on the road Saturday face Sudbury, and on the road against North Bay Sunday. Now, before we jump in about Nick Malik and the Hounds,
I was about to see if you
we're
want
going
to
take a break. That's the update with the Hounds. That's what they played last week. That's what they play this week. When we take a break, we'll come back. We'll discuss a little bit of Hounds, and then we got our In the Pocket segment, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. I love that new bumper. You know, that's fantastic. All these different bumpers that we use is nice. And as everyone's seen, we have a hat that we've been putting on here. Yes, you can purchase these hats. We aren't really officially throwing them on for sale, but we like to add a little bit of decor to our set here today. Nice to change the background, got a hat. Nonetheless, we're going to get in to talk about the Sioux Greyhounds right now. We talked about how they lost their previous two matchups this past weekend, as Alex puts on that hat.
I'm trying to model it.
Obviously,
probably better faces for it, but hey.
Yes, they're used for baseball, anything. They're fantastic hats, great fitting. Nonetheless, the Hounds have 3 games this week. Nick Malik, you do a lot of the analysis inside with the Hounds. The floor is yours.
So when they played Saginaw, they played a home and home. I believe it was Friday, Saturday. Home here Friday, in Saginaw on Saturday. The Greyhounds dictated the whole game's pace of play. But 5-2 loss. That sounds pretty bad. 2 empty net goals. Then softens the blow a little bit. But I think that was kind of more of a case of Saginaw just being a better team. They've got the Cole Perfettis and they've got the big name players. And Nick Malik played really good. I saw his ability to laterally move across the net is immaculate. His stretch,
17, too.
Yeah, his movement across the net is absolutely fantastic. Made quite a few really nice saves. Now, travel down to Saginaw for Saturday where you just lost, and you worked so hard. No excuse for a first and a third period with only 4 shots on net. What's that? What are you trying to do to impress?
The least at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, what are you going to do? How are you going to impress Nick Malik to keep playing here? I mean, you're getting him lit up. It's not even close. 5-1 loss on Saturday. Embarrassing. I get it. You're tired. It was a long trip. You played your home game of the home and home already. But you have to want it just a little bit more. Nick Malik, Sorry to see that it's a bumpy start, but I don't know. It looked pretty good.
Nonetheless, this kid's going to be a stud.
Yeah, he
and
is.
He's going to be a star in this league, and he's going to be a good hockey player in the National Hockey League one day as well. He's good. He reminds me a lot of Robin Lehner. I don't know why. I just kind of see a lot of Robin Lehner-esque type in him. And he's 17 years old. He comes back next year. We're going to be ascending the right direction. His team and the organization still can bounce back. They can still make the playoffs, which is amazing because of how tight it is.
Beauty of the OHL.
Yes, but nonetheless, the Hounds, you know what, give some support to Malik there. And also, special shout out to Cole McCaig, played 250 games. You know, definitely, obviously, a leader here and Sioux native.
250? 150.
150. Look at that. There's another come on that we can add. That's 3 things now. First show back, 3 airs, 3 strikes. Now we're going to talk, now that we talked about our hockey, we did all the recap that we can, we're going to talk football here in our In the Pocket segment. Here on In the Pocket segment, it's perfect when we talk about it on Tuesday because it transitions us nicely into our Wednesday show from Sports Center, which at 9 o'clock. Your first show back at Sports Center, also since Christmas, thanks to Dave McCaig. But nonetheless, Super Bowl has been determined, and we haven't been able to talk a lot of football on this show given where the shows fell and all the breaks. So I feel like we missed out a lot, but we did a lot of updates on our social media and chatted when we could. Super Bowl, Chiefs, Niners.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't made it a hidden known fact that I'm a Packers fan. So it hurt, but I was kind of ready for it. San Francisco has just been...
Nice and laid out for you.
Yeah, the San Francisco has just been that team all year. Kansas City, another huge powerhouse, and I don't think there's a football fan out there that is upset with that matchup.
No, there's not. Patrick Mahomes is not human. The way he played in that game against Tennessee, I picked Tennessee and Green Bay in the final. That's what I predicted on our Thursday show.
Tennessee,
We did a quick little brief in the pocket on Thursday from Northern last week, just so we could say we talked football. But Tennessee and Green Bay, I loved Derrick Henry's running game. He's such a presence.
Why did you have to pick the Packers, man?
And the Packers, I just feel like Aaron Rodgers had that one more left to prove, right? I feel like he could still become big in those big games. And he was dominated against the Chiefs. He was really exposed, and the Chiefs were the better team in this football game from start to finish, despite how many points Rodgers was able to put up.
Yeah, this maybe is the salty Green Bay fan in me, but man, that running game tore through the Packers, and it was so bad. I think the running back scored 4 touchdowns by the end of that game, and Rodgers threw 31 for 39, 2 TDs, 2 picks, but the last one at the end of the game, I mean, he was just trying to throw a Hail Mary for something. I don't know. That's a really good game from Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
That defense did nothing.
He needs
to help.
defense to support him. If this team wants to go further and win,
quarterback
yes,
does.
You need defense. You need a good, strong O-line, and I think that's where it was really exposed with the Packers. But nonetheless, we have a Niners-Chiefs. To give a quick prediction here, I'm going to say right now it's going to be something sort of just absolutely exciting. Jimmy Garoppolo being there after being behind Tom Brady for about a couple of years, being hurt, battling back this year. I hate to say it, San Francisco fans, but the Chiefs are going to take the Super Bowl this year. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to go Super Saiyan.
What's
if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, Patrick Mahomes is throwing 4 touchdowns this game. San Fran's defense is immaculate, but there's something about Patrick Mahomes that's just sticking out to me right now. His girlfriend Party rocks hard too. I don't know if you saw her Instagram through Barstool. Absolutely amazing. Andy Reid had a cheeseburger and went to bed afterward. Absolutely love it. Travis Kelce was ready to party. You know, this team, it's just how can you not love this team? And how can you not love San Fran? These are 2 great teams. San Fran will put up numbers though too. They'll get over 20 points. This is going to be a game where you're going to see 35 to 28 win for the Chiefs. That's my prediction.
I was going to go a little bit lower, and because I'm so good at picking wrong teams, and I want the Chiefs to win, I'm going 49ers, 28-21. And that is a legitimate prediction, even though...
And we've had some bad Super Bowls. Last year was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful Super Bowl. So the year before, absolutely with the Rams, it was the Falcons, Patriots before that. And we know how that game went.
I'm not always excited for the Super Bowl either, depending on who's in it.
Yeah.
I'm pumped for this Super Bowl, and you should be too.
And we'll talk about a lot tomorrow from Sports. Nonetheless, Chiefs and Niners, and the Pro Bowl is also this weekend, if you wanted to know. Nonetheless, thumbs up and thumbs down before we conclude our show. I'll go to you first for your thumbs up.
You go to yours, because mine's on my phone. I put my phone on the ground.
I like that.
To show some respect.
There we go. Thumbs up for me. I had to go to Brad Jacobs. and Marcoux.
Of course.
And Marcoux brothers, everything with Marcoux in it. You could say Brad Jacobs, 3-peat, Marcoux, winning. That's all I see is hashtag winning. Representing the Sioux. Get on that sign off the highway. That's all I got to say. Alex.
And for me, this is kind of really cool, actually. So the Port Huron Prowlers broadcaster, Jeremy Skiba, sorry if I messed that pronunciation up.
Come on, Alex.
Jeremy. He signed with his team as an emergency goaltender and then called the game from the bench, had the headset on, calling the game as the team's backup goalie for the night.
Love to see it.
How cool is that?
Legend. Love it.
How cool.
Now, we do have one thing that we add to the show quick, and I think it fits perfectly into our time. Come On Dave has been added to our show. I love it. Come on, Dave. Now come on down to the next contestant. This was inspired, by me making name mistakes the odd time and just overall mistakes. Just name mistakes, overall mistakes. And I made 3 of them today that was notable. The 1993, I said World Cup champions instead of Memorial Cup champions. It should have been said at the first segment. Second thing was the end of part 3 where I said 3 more parts. Really, we had 2. And Alex, what was my other mistake that I just made?
Oh, yeah, I literally just called you out on it. I guess I should have saved it for this segment. Cole McCaig, good job on 150 games, not 250 games.
That's the fun thing about live. You say it, you got to keep rolling. Gotta love it.
Yes, sir.
I want to say thank you to Jacob Mort, everyone here at ONNtv for a great job as always. I want to say thank you to you, Alex. Thank you to you, the viewers, and also the listeners here on the Game Sports Show for keeping it locked on the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Next up, tomorrow from Sports Center at 9 o'clock. We also have Thursday at 7:15 this week to wrap up a busy, action-packed week back here with the Game Sports Show. Happy to be back, glad to be back, and we'll see you also here next week on TV as well. Have a great night, and booyah.